Preview. The 21 best bird Pokemon that are actually awesome. What are the best bird Pokemon of all time? Birds are amazing, and watching them fly around with ease is enough to make anyone jealous. In the Pokemon world, there is no shortage of bird Pokemon that are both awesome and powerful. However, some are better than others, and if you want to catch the best bird Pokemon, you're going to want to know which ones to prioritize. The best bird Pokemon of all time. A ranked list are created by researching and rounding up information from the most reputable web sources. Here's our list of the 21 best bird Pokemon of all time. SWELLOW introduced in Generation 3 with the games Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, and Pokemon Emerald. SWELLOW evolves from Talillo and it's another form of flying-type Pokemon. SWELLOW is a large dark blue bird with impressive dive-bombing skills. It never misses a target and is quite tenacious in battle. Stats. Starting in Generation 7 onwards, SWELLOW's stats got a bit of an upgrade, taking its special attack from 50 to 75. It also has access to a fantastic list of moves, including Brave Bird, Air Smash, and Wing Attack. FLETCHINDER. FLETCHINDER was introduced in Generation 6, and it is a dual fire flying type Pokemon, evolving from fledgling and later into Talonflame. This bird Pokemon has beautiful orange and black plumage, and a tail that resembles the fledgling on the end of an arrow. It has a sac in its stomach that produces flames, and it hunts bugs by igniting grass and preying on the fleeing insects. Stats. FLETCHINDER's best stats are Speed 84 and Attack 73, while not necessarily spectacular. Many trainers like having this bird so they can evolve it. Despite it having phenomenal stats and being vulnerable to water, electric, and rock types, it does have some good moves including Flame Charge, Gale Wings, and Sword Dance. PIDGEOTTO. Evolving from Pidgey and eventually into Pidgeot, this normal flying-type Pokemon has been around since Generation 1, and it's probably one of the most recognizable, especially for those who have watched the anime. PIDGEOTTO is a very powerful flyer and has extremely good vision, which helps it hunt other Pokemon like Magikarp and Execute. Stats. This bird Pokemon excels at extreme speed and it is very effective against grass and bug types. It also can use moves like Gust and Wing attacks, as well as special attack moves, Air Slash and Hurricane. YVELTAL. This flying dart type Pokemon has a very cool and unique design, and it was introduced to players in Generation 6. This large Pokemon has both Draconic and Avian traits, and it has black and red plumage along with a gray feathery ruffle around its neck. YVELTAL has the ability to absorb life energy using its wings, and when its own life is ending, it will steal the life force of everything around it, and then create a cocoon to sleep in and regenerate. Stats. YVELTAL has impressive stats with 126 full HP, 131 attack, and 131 special attack. This Pokemon can definitely more than hold its own in almost any battle. While it is weak to Ice, Electric, Rock, and Fairy type Pokemon, its moves Dark Pulse, Oblivion Wing, Foul Play, and Sky Attack ensure that it can take out many Pokemon with ease. EMPOLEON, introduced in Generation 4, which includes remakes of two of the best Pokemon games, Gold and Silver. EMPOLEON is a water steel type Pokemon and the final form of PIPLUP. This large blue, black, and white bird looks a bit like a penguin, and its flipper-like wings are thick with golden claws that can rip through ice floes and damage anything that attacks it. Stats. EMPOLEON has a high special attack stat of 111 and a special defense stat of 101. Although weak to fighting type, electro type, and ground type Pokemon, this bird has some significant moves like Metal Claw, Aqua Jet, Water Gun, and Whirlpool, which can be very effective against a good many Pokemon. BLAZIKEN. BLAZIKEN is a firefighting type Pokemon that was introduced in Generation 3. As evolved from Combusken, it is a final form of TORCHIC. This Pokemon can also undergo a Mega Evolution using the BLAZIKEN to become Mega Blaziken. This chicken-like Pokemon has very muscular legs, which allow it to jump and kick with surprising strength. Stats: the uninvolved Blaziken has a great attack stat of 120, which gets boosted to 160 as Mega Blaziken. Its special attack of 110 also jumps to 130, and its speed increases from 80 to 100. Along with having powerful stats, this Pokemon also has some great moves like Close Combat, Fire Punch, Flame Charge, and Flare Blitz. Altaria is an adorable flying dragon-type Pokemon, and it evolves from Swablu and can Mega Evolve into Mega Altaria. Introduced in Generation 3rd, Swablu has a fluffy cloud-like body and wings which becomes even fluffier and more extensive in its Mega form. This Pokemon can also be extremely affectionate, often enveloping people. It is close to in its soft, fluffy wings. Stats: this beautiful bird Pokemon doesn't have the most impressive stats, but it does have a fairly good special defense stat at 105. After Mega Evolution, Altaria's attack, defense, and special attack all get raised to 110. Combined with the moves Dragon Pulse, Dragon Dance, and Sky Attack, this Pokemon can be a great fighter to invest in. Torchic, this fire-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 3rd, evolves from Combusken and eventually into Blaziken. This small, chick-like Pokemon is covered in soft orange feathers and looks completely unassuming. However, if attacked, it can shoot fireballs as hot as 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, scorching anything it comes in contact with. Stats: Torchic has fairly low stats, with a 70 special attacks being its highest. However, it does have access to the moves Ember, Flame Charge, and Flare Blitz, which can be very useful against Grass, Ice, and Bug types. Pidgeotto, this flying normal type Pokemon, is the final evolution of Pidgey, and it can Mega Evolve into Mega Pidgeot. This large bird has powerful wings that it can use to stir up windstorms and intimidate enemies. It can also fly fast enough to break the sound barrier, and in the Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue Pokédocs, Pidgeotto is described as being able to skim over water so fast that it can pick off Magikarp with ease. Stats: seeing that this Pokemon is so fast, it makes sense that its strongest stat is speed at 91, which is boosted with 121 in its Mega form, along with its special attack, which jumps from 70 to 135. Piplup is a small, cute water-type Pokemon that was introduced in Generation 4. It evolves from Piplup and eventually Empoleon. Like Empoleon, Piplup is a very penguin-like Pokemon, and it typically lives along the coast of cold areas. Stats: the small bird stats remain average at best, with its strongest being special attack at 56. That said, it does have access to Water Gun, Bubble Beam, and Whirlpool, which can be situationally useful. Rowlet is another adorable Pokemon, and it is a dual grass flying type. It was introduced in Generation 7, and it evolves into Dartrix and eventually Decidueye. The small owl-like Pokemon is largely nocturnal, and it stores energy throughout the day via photosynthesis. When in battle, it silently whoops down on enemies and kicks them relentlessly with its small but powerful legs. Stats: Rowlet's strongest stat is HP at 68, and it has an average 55 in attack and defense. While it is weak to fire, ice, rock, poison, and flying types, this Pokemon isn't without some decent moves like Brave Bird, Leaf Edge, and Leaf Blade. Lugia is a dual psychic flying type legendary bird that was introduced in Generation 2, which included the games Pokemon Gold and Silver and Pokemon Crystal. Not known to evolve into anything else, this Pokemon is a trio master of the legendary birds and the mascot of Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. Resembling a mix between a dragon and a bird, Lugia can control the weather and create or disperse storms. Stats: this psychic flying type Pokemon has a very high special defense stat of 154 and a good speed stat of 110. With moves like Aeroblast, Rain Dance, and Air Slash, this Pokemon can be a good addition to any team. ZAPDOS, this electric flying type legendary bird may not evolve into anything else, but given how good it is, it really doesn't need to. Introduced in the first generation with the games Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and Pokemon Yellow, this Pokemon looks like a bright yellow, lightning-struck bird. It can generate enough electricity to cause thunderstorms, and it makes a crackling sound when it flies. Stats: this Pokemon has a high special attack of 125 and a high speed stat of 100. This comes in handy considering its special moves, which include Thunder, Thunder Shock, and Drill Peck, which can do some significant damage. BRAVIARY, this normal flying type Pokemon evolves from ROWLET and Insui, and it has an alternative dual psychic flying type form. This large Pokemon looks a bit like an eagle, and it can be extremely aggressive, fighting fiercely to protect those it considers allies. Stats: BRAVIARY has a very good attack of 123, which allows it to pack quite a punch against ground type and ghost type Pokemon. When it comes to moves, this Pokemon has some good ones like Brave Bird, Air Slash, and Trash. Staraptor was introduced in Pokemon Generation 4, and it is a final evolution of Starly. It is a normal flying type Pokemon and looks like a bit like a hawk. Its powerful legs and wings allow it to carry small Pokemon while flying, and it can be aggressive enough to attack even much larger foes. Stats: in Generation 6 and onwards, this Pokemon got a special defense boost from 50 to 60, but its main stats remained attack at 120 and speed at 100. Staraptor also has some impressive moves like Wing Attack, Brave Bird, and Takedown, which can make it a powerful Pokemon to have on your side. Ho-Oh is a dual fire flying type legendary bird that debuted in Generation 2. While it doesn't evolve into anything else, it is powerful on its own and worth investing in. A very colorful bird-like Pokemon that resembles something between a peacock and a phoenix. Its wings are very prismatic and it causes rainbows while flying. Stats: Ho-Oh has incredible stats, including a 130 attack, 154 special defense, and 110 special attack. Its flying type moves are also considered good and include Gust, Sky Attack, Thunder Wave, and Brave Bird. Corviknight is a Generation 8 flying steel type that evolves from Quarry as the final evolution of Rookidee. This Pokemon also has a Gigantamax form which transforms this bird appearance and makes it look even more badass. Corviknight wings are strong enough to generate hurricane force winds, and it can even pick up and transport people to other locations, which has made it useful for the Galar taxi service in the Galar region. Stats: this Pokemon has a decent attack of 87 but an even better defense of 105. It can be quite devastating when using moves like Steel Wing, Drill Peck, or Iron Head. When placed against poison or ground types, this Pokemon can do a lot of damage really quickly. Moltres, introduced in Generation 1, this fire flying type legendary Pokemon is impressive and even comes with a dual dark flying regional form in the Crown Tundra. This Pokemon's flame body gives it a unique appearance and billows flames as it flies. It can heal itself by diving into magma, and in the past, its signature move was Sky Attack. Stats: Moltres has a high special attack of 125 and a high general attack of 100. When coupled with moves like Wing Attack, Air Slash, and Heat Wave, it can do some serious damage to opponents. Decidueye is a dual grass ghost Pokemon that was introduced in Generation 7, which contained the games Let's Go, Pikachu, and Let's Go Eevee, which take place in the same universe as Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. The final form of Rowlet, this Pokemon looks like an owl wearing a green hood, and it has the ability to mask its presence, allowing it to attack unaware foes. Stats: Decidueye has a high special and general attack at 107 and 100 respectively, and it has a 100 special defense to help it hold out in battle. This Pokemon also can use moves like Shadow Sneak, Spirit Shackle, and Phantom Force, which can pack a significant punch against the right enemies. Articuno is a Pokemon fan favorite, ice-flying legendary Pokemon that has been around since Generation 1. This large blue bird doesn't evolve into anything else, but it does have an intelligent psychic flying regional form. It has the ability to freeze the moisture in the air to make it snow, and it is the only Pokemon that can learn Freezing Glare. Stats: Articuno has a strong special and general defense stat at 125 and 100. The moves it can learn also give this Pokemon an advantage over others that use grass or fighting type moves, like Sheer Cold, Blizzard, and Freeze Dry. Talonflame is the final evolution of Fletchling, and it looks a lot like a falcon. This Pokemon preys on other birds and hunts by diving and kicking at its prey before digging in its talons. It can also fly over 310 miles per hour, making it difficult to escape once it starts a pursuit. Stats: This angry looking bird is by far the best flying type Pokemon, and its speed stat of 126 makes it a force to be reckoned with. It can also use a lot of great moves like Brave Bird, Fly, and Steel Wing.